Bloodymania 19 was a very successful show. JCW put on a good show down there in Missouri. Let's talk about it. This is the Signature Adventure Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and that's DS Walk. If you want to switch it, I'm DS Walk, and that's Jamie. And thank you guys for tuning in today. JCW Bloodymania 19 was a very successful show. But now I got to turn it over to the man who knows more about JCW than the average man.
Oh, jeez. Got to turn it over to me?
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to, conversate about it.
Well, I mean, we is conversating, and you got to leave the conversation. I mean, this is your promotion. When I mean this is your promotion, I mean, this is your guys. You're an ICP fan. You're a Gigolo fan. You've been a Gigolo fan for 30 plus
years. You could just say it right once, it would be okay.
All right, my bad. Look, and we all know how I like to have fun with ICP. We all know you're a Jugalo fan. It's all good. It's all good.
It's just getting worse.
Well, now
okay. See, anyway,
but hold on before you continue all that. I say that because we have a mutual person who had to deal with the Gigolos, the Jugalos for 12 years and made that known to my attention. And somehow, in some way, I bypassed that whole thing. But hey, I just had to put it out
there. I would assume it's a she that had to put that out there. Yeah, it's not nearly as bad now. I don't really listen to them a whole lot now. And if I do, it's just old stuff. I haven't really listened to, I've listened to all of their stuff, but anything from 2015 on, I've only listened to once. I just stick with all the old stuff. Now Twisted's a whole different story. I listen to everything. Everything
I ask you, and maybe I never asked you this. It's a shame on me because we boys, we brothers. I should have known this. Who the hell turns you on to ICP?
So, I don't know where he got them from, but my dad came home with a giant box of CDs one day. And I was 9. I remember because we hadn't moved yet. I was still technically in Hazel Park. Came home with a giant box of CDs one day. And I was like, what all's in there? He goes, I don't know. He's like, there's a little bit of everything. And I was like, all right. So I'm flipping through and just there was probably over 500 CDs in there. And I'm 9. So if you go back and look at, they have an album called Beverly Kills 50187. And it's done up like a comic book back then. I'm 9. So I'm like, oh, this looks cool. Popped it out. The CD's got blood streaks on it. That's how they designed it, with a picture of Jason Priestley. Really weird that I still remember that. But popped it in, played it, and it just kind of stuck. So, yeah.
All right, man. That's good to know. So when I run into your dad one day, we want to have this conversation.
He's in Southfield. He's not hard to find.
Oh, shit. I know the area.
8 Mile and Evergreen. Go check him out.
Yeah. We're going to have this conversation. So, my brother, what do you think? So, I know you tried to ask me, but I want you to go ahead. What did you think of the pay-per-view?
For what they do, it's their big match of the year, or their big event of the year. Obviously, it's not the spectacle of WrestleMania or anything, but for what it is, it's a great show. And it's, I don't want to say a free show because you do have to go to the Gathering to see it. But if you're at the Gathering, you can go watch it. They don't charge anything extra. They also did a JCW taping for this coming week that's already been done on there. But overall, Josh Bishop looked great. James Storm and CoKane looked great. CoKane looked good, even though she lost. Everybody looked good. There wasn't really a bad match.
Nah, so I was very impressed with CoKane. I didn't expect her to come down and interfere in the match. Honest God, I did not expect that. But you know, it's the one thing that I've been saying, and what we've been saying for a long time is that if somebody's going to interfere in the match, you gotta make it make sense. Like why is he or she interfering in this match?
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal here? What's the long term? What we looking at here? And you know, CoKane, she came down because she wanted to win the title. She wanted a title shot. She felt she should have been in this title picture. She interfered. It made sense. The probably my favorite match of the day, and I know I'm skipping it, but my favorite match was the first match. You know, CoKane and James Storm versus Shane Mercer and Steve Flowe. You know, I liked it because I didn't know who Steve Flowe was until they told the backstory. Because every episode I watched, I did not see him on the show. But they told that backstory of Steve Flowe and CoKane, how they were friends, tag team partners, and Steve Flowe got jealous of CoKane because his popularity was growing, his following, and look, it was a great tag team match. I don't think that could have been better if this was a 6-man match where Ken Anderson could have been involved in this match, or Ken Anderson could have like a singles match with him and James Storm, since he's the one who put out James Storm with that ankle injury for 6 months. But hey, you know where I come from, and CoKane is one of my favorite JCW wrestlers.
He'll be getting his name changed much sooner than later. Because JCW, they know what they are. They're a mid-level show. They do want to grow it, things like that. That's why they got Russo involved and part of the ownership and things like that. And they will. But they also don't think that they're ever going to be WWE. So in saying all that, they're rebranding a lot of their characters to be more broad appeal. Like, you're not going to send a guy named CoKane to TNA. You're not going to send a guy named CoKane to AEW or WWE.
No.
So it kind of hurts him to say, oh, yeah, your entire character is based on CoKane, but we're not going to let you use that. So nobody knows who you are. So now you're not worth anything to us. So soon you're going to see his entire character change to something more usable, because they know not everybody's going to stick in JCW. Now, the old guys like the Two Tough Tonys, the Willie Macks, the guys, the Madman Pondos that were there 20 plus years ago, they're still there. They're not ever going to get signed because they're all in their 50s. So they know they get to do their, they all get to do their little stuff with JCW, keeps them happy. They do their JWO stuff. It's good. But like a guy like CoKane that does have real talent, that he can go into the bigger leagues and do something, even he knows he's got to change the gimmick. And they'll probably do something soon. He'll lose some sort of rivalry that'll force him to change. That way it makes sense story-wise. But I mean, overall, the only match that surprised me is I thought for sure the Outbreak was going to win over Choppa City.
Me too. I thought so too.
I'm not complaining that they didn't win. I just thought for sure that they would. But they still got a lot of runway that they can run with that too. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you know, if it wasn't for the outside interference,
that
happened in that match, I think they would have won. And like you said, I'm not upset they lost, because now this is a bigger story that can be told after Bloodymania. You know, about them getting the tag team championships at some point within the next few months or so. So there's a story right there that can be told, and actually a story that can continue to be told. Because, you know, I don't know about you, man, but Choppa City looked like a knockoff of the Harlem Heat to me. And you know, it's cool. I mean, I was impressed, but not overly impressed with Choppa City. But I was really impressed by the Outbreak. And
Choppa City is like a blend of like the Street Profits and Harlem Heat mixed together.
And to me, be honest with you, I put the Outbreak out there with CoKane. You know, if they continue to progress in the direction where they're going, they might be getting a name change and moving on from JCW, because they're a good tag team. They got a good gimmick that fits them. These guys, they work good together. Actually, you can honestly say that whole faction might have an opportunity to move on. But in JCW right now, They're very impressive to me.
Alice Crowley won, so that's another big fan favorite.
Yes.
People love Alice Crowley. She's also really popular in Power Slap. So is Hollywood Haley J, also very popular in Power Slap. They both.
Yeah, I've seen her. You know, when she came out to the ring and the ring announcer said Hollywood, I'm expecting someone to dress up in something like
no
NWO Hulk Hogan.
No. What's it called? The Man's Chinese Theater in Hollywood that they used to do the big movie premieres. It's one of those things like you look at the Man's Chinese Theater, but they only show it from the one perspective because if you turn the camera around, it looks like a crack corridor. That's like where Hollywood Haley J comes from, is like the crack corridor over there.
Oh, okay. Man, that's very interesting. The we talk about the Danny Moe versus CoKane, and the simple fact that he was able to get Gail Kim to be a special guest referee, man, that's pretty impressive to me, honestly. You know, Gail Kim, one of the best women wrestlers of all time, retired not too long ago. She makes special appearances here and there with wrestling, but for her to even just come to an independent wrestling like JCW to be a special guest referee, that's kind of huge for them.
I've heard that she's actually pretty involved with them now. I don't know if it's as a trainer or what, but I know she's doing stuff behind the scenes with them a lot. I don't know if she's helping write or whatnot, but yeah, they actually have a pretty substantial support system behind them, like off camera.
Okay. So I'm wondering here, you know, since they got Vince Russo, was Vince Russo in attendance?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. So since they got Vince Russo and they have Gail Kim, maybe they can convince. I won't say convince, but maybe they might attract more former wrestlers or former producers in the wrestling business or in the wrestling business to come in, join the JCW family. You know, that can only get better.
I don't. You probably haven't seen it yet, but the APA was there like a month ago. So if you're going by like,
that's what I did miss.
You did. Yeah, so they already aired that one. Okay, so I guess that was a little bit longer than I thought it was. Because they're usually, like I've said, 7 to 9 weeks behind. So I didn't realize it was that long ago already. But yeah, the APA has been there recently. They actually have a pretty steady flow of getting like a lot of the older veterans and stuff to show up because again, they've got a good name. They've been in all the major promotions, and they've always done a good job everywhere they went. I mean, even Eric Bischoff, who hates everybody, says nothing but good things about ICB. And he hates everybody.
He does. That's crazy. The Josh Bishop versus Facade and Father Bronson, that was also an enjoyable match.
They're very happy to have Josh Bishop back because he was hurt for a long time.
Yeah, they mentioned that. And look, I thought Facade on numerous times during this match, I thought he was gonna win it. Fortunately, you know, Josh Bishop won, rightfully so, because it made more sense to me, honestly. But don't get me wrong, like, it wasn't like I wasn't pulling for K to win, but Josh Bishop deserved to win. Again, it made more sense. And again, this is one of these matches where when you look at a triple threat match sometimes in wrestling, it's again when you have the outside interference, it got to make sense. The story got to make sense on why three guys are battling each other for the title. And honestly, we even come out. My honest opinion coming out of this match is that I do believe Josh Bishop and Facade going to be battling more for the title.
Yeah, they've got to focus on building up more stars, so I think that's part of it too. I mean, CoKane is clearly there, but you can't have him in everything. That's one thing Russo is pretty good at being aware of. Even when he was writing for other companies, he doesn't leave one guy sitting at the top all the time because people get bored. That's just honest. The reality of it, people get bored.
Yeah, and look, I'm big of a fan base and big fan of CoKane. And by the way, if he has a shirt, I'm gonna get that shirt. But
he does. He does.
I'm gonna get it. He doesn't need to be battling for the title right now. You want to say that maybe it'll be with Josh Bishop or Facade or whoever. He just don't need to have the title right now. I'm always a big believer. See, the one thing about wrestling that I believe that a lot of wrestling companies forget about is character development. With Vince Russo, CoKane character development will continue to get better as long as he's in JCW. So he doesn't need the title right now. I'll keep, like I said, I expect Josh Bishop and Facade continue to battle for the championship. And when the time is right, maybe at some point in this year or next year, I could see CoKane being the champion. The Khalid Conley versus Mr. Happy, and Conley went over Mr. Happy. And the simple fact that we got a wrestler named Mr. Happy, that's amazing to me.
It's a direct tie to an ICP song.
Crazy stupid, but it fits the personality of the wrestler.
It's because some of them are directly tied to ICP songs. Mr. Happy is one of them.
Yes.
Just lost what I was going to say. Totally just blanked out on what I was about to say. Yeah, you said that, and I totally lost track of where I was going. Well, clearly it wasn't that important. Nah. But no, the whole show, overall, it was solid. And again, it was, if you want to call it a free event, you can. I mean, you had to pay to get into the gathering, which I'm not going to those ever again. I've been down that road, and I'm just too old now to care. But, I mean, they are starting to do more stuff with, like, JCW was involved. They've got that whole thing that they're building up to. So I don't know if they're going to do, like, maybe a cross-promotion pay-per-view or something with JCW. I don't really know who wants to see Nick Gage at this point. Most people probably don't even really know who he is, unless you're, like, a hardcore, like, buying VHS tapes at, like, garage sales kind of thing, because he's a backyard wrestler, deathmatch guy. Actually died fighting a guy from, I think, Germany at one point. But yeah, they got that whole thing with GCW. I know they've talked, because Jay's done a couple of videos where they've talked about working with Maple Leaf, with Scott D'Amore, because they got a good relationship with him. I would like to see that, because that would be like a little more credibility. GCW's fine. Like, they've got their own credibility. I know what I was going to say now. As far as the main event, it kind of depends on, like, what kind of contract that Dijak signed, what kind of contract EC3 signed, because those are two guys right there that would instantly go into your main event, and both of those guys would be good against Josh Bishop.
Yes.
So I don't know if that was just like a Bloodymania thing, like, hey, we're paying you to show up these 2 weeks before and then the event and that's it, or if they're going to keep them around for a while. I mean, Matt Cardona was set to be long-term and obviously got the call from WWE and gone. So
yeah, I bet you regret that. Well, not take that back. You know, he get to work with his wife. You know,
well, he gets to follow his wife around the stores and find her action figures now. That was the last video I saw by him. Like, hey, you don't see any Matt Cardona ones, but there's Chelsea Green ones.
Yeah. I hope Dijak do stick around. I think EC3 will be around for a while, just because, you know, it's EC3. He's not with a major promotion right now. And I kind of think by him just being shown up out a lot of these indie promotions, man, I think it would help him more than anything. Dijak, I would love to see Dijak stick around, because for him, it's just about building his name back up and getting back out there. And Dijak does good work.
WWE did him dirty. I mean, there's really no other way to put that. They just did him dirty.
WWE did a lot of people dirty.
Well, yeah, I mean, that goes.
That's why they lose the money.
Dijak, like, you give this horrible gimmick of the retribution thing that never had any sort of sense of plan around it whatsoever.
That it didn't make sense for him.
No. And then, of all people, Mustafa Ali, who's like 5'5", is going to be bossing around Dijak, who's like almost 7 feet and gigantic.
That was the point. That didn't make sense.
Yeah, like, that's where you can play. Retribution was actually kind of fun. The only knock on them was that it was the Shield all over again, except this time Michin was there. So they had a female.
It showed you their creativity.
Well, yeah, 100%. It was basically the Shield with now we've added a woman into the group. And then, hey, we're not really doing anything with these guys, so let's add Mustafa Ali in there and really not have it make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, they did him dirty. He was doing good at NXT when they broke that whole thing back, broke it up, and then he went back to NXT. He was doing great, but what do I know?
Yeah, you don't know shit. That's what they're trying
to tell you.
Yeah.
Clearly.
You know, I think for me, what I'm going to see with JCW overall as a company is that I'm hoping that they will do something with the what AEW is doing right now, where when it comes to their pay-per-views, I'd like to see them wrestle in maybe a little more bigger venue, because you can tell they have a good following. And even though that crowd was small, they had the setup was kind of small. I don't think it's no more than 1,500 people.
Probably about that, maybe even a little bit less. Yeah, a
little bit less than that.
Because the problem is what the way the gathering. There's something happening 24 hours a day. So even though JCW is doing something, they've got other artists that people might want to go see, like playing, because there's 3 stages of like concerts going on at the same time.
Yeah, you got the concert going, which I know that was a hit, but I'm referring to more as if they could have like a 5,000 setup for their pay-per-view matches and stuff. I think they can sell out 5. I think they can do 5,000.
One of the knocks on ICP is that they don't gamble big enough on their venues. That's one of the reasons that Twisted left a long, long time ago, because Twisted wanted to play bigger venues and they don't book bigger venues. But then they turn around and say, well, Twisted didn't sell because we added them to our concert and they didn't sell any more tickets. Well, when you're already sold out, you can't sell out past sold out. So what do you want them to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always been an ICP Psychopathic Records issue, is that I don't know if they're too scared to book bigger venues or what, but they don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they don't. Just me from that, like I said, from the outside observing, 5,000, 10,000, that's probably their max. I don't want them to book a 15, 18, or 20,000 seat stadium and they can't sell out, and that look bad on them. But I like to see them maybe, because they doing the right thing, how they're doing it, their shows. But for your pay-per-view, maybe you want to do 3,500 or 5,500, and then just keep your daily shows where it is right now. 500 people, 400 people. You got your loyal fan base there, but I just kind of think that if they can spread their wings a little bit, maybe they can draw in more of a.
They are doing a Halloween show at the Masonic Temple in Detroit, and it holds 4,600.
Well, that'd be great.
Jack White Theater, or whatever the hell it's called now. I don't know. I just know it's the Masonic Temple.
Well, that's if they can pull in 4,600, man, that's a step. That's a step up. That's a step up. So, yeah, I like to see more of that. I mean, if you get away from look, if you look at the context of just on the wrestling standpoint or who they have, that's what I'm looking at. Don't look at all of the fancy, the distractions or the makeup or the clowns and all that stuff. Look from the standpoint of the wrestling.
Yeah, it's the substance.
And it's good. It's good. I'm not going to sit here and BS you guys. It is good. So I like to see them bump up maybe to a little bigger venue for the pay-per-views. But other than that, man, Bloodymania 19, I enjoyed it. And again, I thought it was a success. I am looking forward to some things to be advanced on their next tapings down the road. Again, I think CoKane, Alex Crowley, the Outbreak, Josh Bishop, CoKane, Danny Moe, Khalil Clowney, and Facade, and even how can I forget Nyla Rose? How can I forget Nyla Rose? But that's a whole nother story. But all the names I mentioned, this helped them win or lose. This helped them but down the road. So, I expect, we already know we should expect from Vince Russo. We already know that he knows who's he going to push and who's he going to make look good. So there's no question about that. But like I said, the names I mentioned, I kind of think that this pay-per-view helped them out tremendously. And hopefully we'll get James Storm versus Mr. Anderson down the road as well.
That would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can look up, if you want to see them, you can look up the results for Lunacy for this week. They've already obviously recorded all that stuff. So
yeah, I like to be surprised.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I like to be surprised. This is other than I say Maple Leaf and New Japan, which I do watch and I got to catch up on. I'm about to put JCW in my rotation. And the reason why, other than me being a professional wrestling fan,
it's definitely worth more of a watch than SmackDown is. It's more of a watch than SmackDown is.
And hear me out on this one, because I wasn't trying to talk WWE, but since you mentioned SmackDown and I'm gonna mention Raw, I'm gonna mention WWE as a company in general. And is that to me, they're not a wrestling company no more. They're not a professional wrestling company.
They haven't been for a long time.
Right. And this company is they're more on the entertainment side of things. Like, for example, and again, Danhausen is entertainment. And don't get me wrong, it's not. I don't have nothing against Danhausen. I think Danhausen is great. He's selling a lot of merch. He's making them money, but that's who they want. They're not catering to wrestling fans no more. They have done for a long time. So, for me, it's kind of like I always question, why are all of us watching WWE knowing that this is not a professional wrestling company? And we put down AEW because of their shortcomings. But yeah, the WWE has been like this. I want to say maybe a year before TKO took over.
So I think I was asked to stop watching WWE by somebody, as you have relayed to me.
Yeah.
I would love to, honestly. Unfortunately, that's what people want to hear about. WWE is, what's the word I'm looking for? I know entertainment's probably the best word, but character driven. Yeah, we'll just say entertainment. They're an entertainment company that just happens to do wrestling. McDonald's is a toy distribution company that happens to sell food.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket Mortgage is a fintech company that just happens to sell mortgages. Like, that's all it is. AEW is a wrestling company. JCW is a wrestling company. Maple Leaf, New Japan, those are wrestling companies. If WWE can get somebody to sell 10,000 shirts like Danhausen and be a terrible wrestler, they don't care. Now, when Danhausen stops selling 10,000 shirts,
it's a problem.
It's a problem.
And by the way, I love to see Danhausen in JCW, by the way. It'd be an instant classic hit.
Danhausen would be a perfect fit in JCW.
Yes.
But that's what it is. Again, do they care that certain people can't wrestle? No. As long as they can get the kids to get the parents to buy the merch, that's all that matters. And let's be honest, any wrestling company would love to have that too. But I mean, WWE has been trying to push their people. Like, you had that, what was the show? Total Divas.
Mm-hmm.
You had Tough Enough. They've done everything they can to branch off into different eras. And, they tried doing the movie thing with John Cena. It didn't really work. He had to make it on his own. They've got like 9 variations of the Marine movie. They tried it with like Ted DiBiase Jr. They tried it with Randy Orton. I think they tried it with Cody at one point. But there's like 9 variations of that movie with different wrestlers.
And they were successful with The Miz.
Yeah. The Miz, I think, did 3 of them.
Cena came up. Something that John Cena was in first.
Yeah. I mean, they did the first Marine movie. They did, what was that movie with him? 12 Rounds. Yeah, 12 Rounds. They did the first couple Rock movies, and then he got too big for them, signed that Disney deal. But like, they've never had one of their guys just have an absolute blockbuster of a movie. But
I
they keep
think Drew
trying.
might be coming the first one. I will say Seth Rollins because he was in the Marvels, but they cut out his parts.
Well, that tells you how successful it was. That they're like, we don't even need to see you at all.
And you had Triple H and Blade, and he did good because he didn't talk.
And when he did, that's when the movie started going south. And that's also the worst Blade movie by far.
Yeah, because they got away from the storyline.
The only reason that movie is watchable is because Jessica Biel's in it and people are watching her ass. Secondly, because Ryan Reynolds is in it.
Yeah, and who else did movies?
I mean, Becky Lynch is in Happy Gilmore too, and she's supposed to be in something else coming out. Drew McIntyre is probably going to become the biggest WWE backed star.
Yeah, the Becky Lynch and Happy Gilmore too. She did good, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, she did good. I mean, her MJF, they knocked it out the park. She didn't have a big part. The part that she had, it fit, and she killed it. Drew McIntyre being a Highlander, don't know if it's a big role or small role, but it looks like a major role because it took him away from some WrestleMania weekend time, and it actually did. He might did so good that he's doing another project. So
he's working Russell Crowe into shape. I sent you that one, didn't I? Are those two working out?
Yeah, I seen that.
Working Russell Crowe into shape.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns. I'm not gonna say Roman Reigns is a bad actor. Actually, I'm not even gonna say a lot of these professionals, a lot of these guys and women, they're not bad actors. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that the parts that they're given, it fits them. Now, if you give them bigger roles, then that might be a problem.
Cody had a reoccurring thing on Arrow. What
Cody did good on
Arrow. You doing?
Cody did.
Yeah, Cody was good. Great,
but
there wasn't decent. A lot to be asked of his character. A guy that doesn't feel pain. Like, okay, cool. No. I mean,
he's a Street Fighter, so he did a good job landing the role in Street Fighter.
We'll see. The movie's not out yet, and it's Street Fighter. If you go look at the first one, the bar is pretty low.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So,
look, like I said, WWE is not a professional wrestling. And I think the way we watch it, I think we have to watch it in the sense of that eye where they're not a professional wrestling company no more. So,
there's a very easy way to tell they're not a professional wrestling company is that they have the show Unreal.
Yes. And I'm hearing like a lot of people don't like Unreal because it's giving away a lot of secrets of wrestling. And then you're showing, because you gotta remember, back in the day, when Vince McMahon was running things, you can show some emotions. Like if you win your first major title, yeah, you can show some emotions. But with Unreal, man, they're showing every other wrestler is getting very emotional, and it's kind of taken away from their character.
Tells you that it's scripted. That's why I don't watch it.
Yeah,
but I sent you that video of those guys trashing it. I'm like, this might actually make me watch it to see how bad these creative meetings are.
Oh man!
So I might actually give it a whirl tonight. I might actually throw on season. They're what on season 4 now?
Season 3.
Okay, so it'd be like 4-year-old content at that point, but no big deal. So I might watch it just to see how bad these creative meetings are, because I can only imagine when they're publicly taking time to just sit there and talk about how bad it is.
Yeah. And another thing about the WWE is that WWE is now a public trading company. They have a board. So you can understand that when they're losing money, like they are, I mean, we seen the report that was it SummerSlam or WrestleMania was it down by 19% from last year, I think.
That was WrestleMania.
Yes.
Well, SummerSlam, they didn't even sell enough tickets between 2 nights to fill it up one night.
Right. And you get the board sees that, and if we're not making money, how can we explain these contracts that these wrestlers have?
Well, so
because
this
TKO is not maximizing the men and women on that roster to put on a good show. They're only
where you go with
using.
that. When you're a publicly traded company, your first responsibility is to the shareholders, not to the fans. It doesn't matter. It's to the shareholders. So as long as shareholders are making money, they don't really care about the actual product, as long as they keep making more money. Now, ESPN's losing money, WWE's losing money,
Netflix.
Everybody that's touched WWE, we'll keep it simple. Everybody that has a deal with WWE is losing money.
And that's on TKO, Nick Khan, and Triple H.
I don't know if Nick Khan just happens to be the world's greatest salesman and I'm missing out on something, and people just sign these ridiculous contracts with WWE because they've overinflated the value. But everybody that touches WWE right now is losing money, which means the shareholders are losing money, which means the first thing they're going to do is keep taking money everywhere they can. So they're looking at the talent saying, you guys aren't making us money. We want you to make less money. So now they're renegotiating contracts up to Sami Zayn apparently took 50% less than what he was getting. Ha ha on you. I would have left. But you have all these wrestlers taking all these giant pay cuts, but where's that money going? It's going right back to Nick Khan, Triple H, Ari Emanuel, and the board. It's not going into making the product better. They're stripping out, just like any hedge fund that comes in to buy something, the first thing that they do is they strip out all the things that aren't necessary to make the profits look like they're there. Because if I strip out all of the expenses that we feel that we don't need, the value technically goes up. And that's what they did. They did away with everything that made WWE the WWE. They stripped out entrances, garbage, pyro, gone. Like all of those things. House shows, gone. Like basically all the extra expense stripped away. And now you have this void of a soul product that shows up twice a week.
Basically everything that need to connect with the fans and maybe you can make some more profit, you got rid of. See, I have seen someone has said this, and shout out to that person, by the way. Her name is Chrissy, and she has said, she had basically broke down Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins' contract. So she has said it as Roman Reigns makes $15 million. Mm-hmm. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins $5 million each. So since they're married, you can say that's $10 million. Mm-hmm. So that's $25 million for the WWE with those three to say, "Hey, our top three superstars are making us money." It can't be $25 million overall. It has to be something like $50 to $75 million because of their contracts and because
if I'm paying you $25 million and you've made me $30 million, that's not worth it.
No. Now, if you make me 75, okay, but that's
even also 75. I'd be saying,
well,
three times the value.
That's include merch, appearances, and everything. I mean, that's
now you're talking flights because they do pay for flights now. You're talking all that extra expense added in. Well, even at $75 million, I'm saying that's still not worth the squeeze.
I think flights were Roman, but if I remember correctly, Seth and Becky, they try about their bus. They got their own bus, so they don't.
If they're busting themselves around, I mean, that's stupid on your part, but you do.
Cody Rhodes has that too.
Yeah, well, I know, but again, if you want to pay for the gas to drive that thing around, you do you, boo boo.
They got the money. But because it goes back to also when she has said that the Netflix and the ESPNs, they felt that the true superstars retired not too long ago. John Cena,
and Brock
Lesnar. That's what they view.
I know exactly what video you're talking about because I did watch it.
Yeah, and look, it's I mean, if Roman Reigns right now is your only big draw, you have again, it goes back to what I was saying, what everybody's saying, is that the refusal of building new superstars and you're dependent on older guys to carry the weight of Brock Lesnar and John Cena to be box office is just not working.
Well, I've said it multiple times in the past few shows we've done. Everything reeks of desperation. They keep parading Roman out there because they haven't built anybody else up because they're too scared to make Roman look weak. This is a direct result of Triple H. And what did they award him with? Oh, here's a contract extension. Your company is falling apart whether you want to admit it or not. The people that have done deals with you know that they're losing money. It's been reported on. It's not fake. You can watch SummerSlam. The seats are empty. You could watch WrestleMania. The seats are empty. You could watch that event over in Saudi Arabia. The seats were empty. And they built that arena for that event. And it was still empty. So the proof is there.
Commercials because Netflix and ESPN got to make their money back somehow.
Yeah. And what's the number one thing everybody complains about? The amount of commercials. But again, ESPN sinks all this money into them. Well, you're not bringing the value. So we got to add more commercials. Well, guess what happens? We're adding more commercials, but now that commercial time isn't as valuable because viewership is down. So now they're paying less to get that commercial time. So now we have to add more commercials because you're not bringing the value anymore. And because you keep relying on Randy Orton. No offense to Randy. He just got back. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and we'll just say the bloodline as a whole, to carry your entire product. Trick Williams, he's doing okay. They've done something with him. But who else have they really done anything with?
Nothing. Nobody. I mean, you can say that Trick Williams right now, you got to question, why is he still battling Barry Coleman for the United States title where Paul Heyman basically came out and said he's a superstar and he should be in the main event?
Because they would have to do what they've done many times and just break up a story midway through and insert Trick Williams into something, which is what they should have done. I still go back to when SmackDown, they had that match of Aleister Black versus Cody. Right then and there, Aleister Black, you're going out, you're winning the belt tonight. It would flip everybody on their heads. People would be talking about your product, and people are going to guarantee to watch the very next episode of SmackDown to see what the hell is going to happen. But they're too scared to ever take the title off of Cody, and if they do, they've already got a plan to put it right back on him as quick as possible. The only reason it hasn't happened right now is because CM Punk has it, and we all know he was throwing a temper tantrum after WrestleMania. It's been well talked about. So they're probably letting him sit on the belt for a while so he shuts up. It's also in their best interest to get a schmuck like him gone. Because at this point, he's done his little story thing. He's got his WrestleMania moment. He got his main event. He's had a couple more title runs. Let him go. When the average age is over 40 for your main eventers, whether it's women or men, it's basically over 40. That's a problem.
Big time problem.
And again, Karrion Kross a couple weeks ago said the same thing I've been saying. How do you expect to build somebody up if you have them sitting back in catering, not using them? Ilya Dragunov. And it's not just Ilya. It can go with any of the women that are sitting back doing nothing. Any of the men sitting back doing nothing. Carmelo Hayes, realistically, probably going to be gone soon. But a guy like Santos Escobar, you rehired this guy out of spite just so you could turn around and fire him. Because you knew that he was going to go and get top dollar wrestling for AEW and become a megastar. And you re-signed this guy, according to Santos Escobar, got a call directly from Nick Khan that talked him into re-signing just to shoot this guy down to AAA. Because again, once we got you under a long-term contract, there's nothing you can do. We can fire you, but there's nothing you can do. So you're going to go wrestle in AAA now. Ha ha, sorry you signed a long-term contract. And that's it.
Yeah.
You rehired the guy just to fire him.
But you know what? It kind of goes that, with Ilya being let go, it just sparked this huge conversation in the wrestling community because everybody's pissed and everybody's upset. And but it goes deeper in that because, like you said, Carmelo. At some point, I don't want to see it, but you got to think about between now and maybe next year. You got to wonder about Carmelo Hayes and the Street Profits position in the WWE. I mean, Carmelo Hayes was your first pick.
If that Montez Ford track
gets
any more attention, Montez Ford is going to get fired.
We're going to top on that tomorrow because you know what? I don't blame Montez Ford.
I don't blame him either. Everything he said was 100% on point, but
right.
You're not going to attack Roman Reigns' family and there not be something done about it. Again, if Montez was at the top of the card, maybe, but they're not even using him. They brought him back, made all this hype that we're repackaging the Street Profits. They come out, they look the exact same. You give them the titles, then you take it off of them after, 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. And now they haven't been seen again.
Look, well, Bianca had her baby, so you kind of expected him to be off TV for a minute. But prior to that, listen, what we always say about when there's heat, do business. You telling me that the Usos want to do business with Street Profits, and especially Montez say, hey, you guys are a knockoff of us. Yeah, y'all got the Jey Uso Yee and all that. That ain't come from the Street Profits.
If you remember a long time ago on this show, I said that there was nothing unique about Jey Uso. Everything he has, he's taken from somebody else. Recently, the Yeet. He's not the one that started doing Yeet. His brother's not even the one. They had to pay somebody from AEW that left WWE to get the rights to it. But even Jimmy was doing it before Jay was. And then that whole "this is your warning shot." Who started that? Jimmy started that. Jay stole it. Like, there's nothing unique about Jey Uso whatsoever.
No, and look, they stole a lot of the Street Profits things. Mm-hmm. That's been recognized by the Street Profits. So if we're gonna sit here and say what you just said, if Montez keep doing that, they're gonna fire him. Shit, do business. Do business. But we're gonna say that conversation for tomorrow. Because we're gonna do a little bit of WWE talk tomorrow. I don't want to spoil it today, because maybe I just gonna be the brunt of our show. It's about Montez Ford and his diss song on the Bloodline. I just call it the way it is.
He's not a really good rapper either, though. So there is that. He's not a really good rapper either, though. So there is kind of that whole thing.
Does that matter?
No, I mean, the content is there, but I was like, I listened to the rest of it, and I'm like, you should probably not ever do this again.
Shit, continue. I mean, look, it's unique. I mean, I was a little disappointed in the fact that when I heard, I know you hate the song. When Trick Williams and Lil Yachty made a diss song about Sami Zayn, Gingerbread Man, the reason why I was a little disappointed is because they could have used that song, that diss track song, a part of the feud, and WWE didn't do it. That's a perfect opportunity where, Trick Williams made this song. We didn't know he did that. Well, yeah, he was doing that in NXT. Now he did it on Sami Zayn. They could have brought that, brought in more new fans. That's what they've been wanting, more new fans right there. And they didn't. And I hope they, with the Montez Ford situation, the Street Profit situation, I hope they use that.
They won't. If Vince was there, maybe. But under this, I said if Vince was there, maybe, because Vince did like to dabble in the real life stuff. He loved it. Multiple occurrences of guys not liking each other backstage that they would push into a story. You got the whole Edge and Matt Hardy thing that he pushed on. You had the whole, that was WCW, but they even referenced it back in WWE. Scott Hall and his alcoholism. Road Warrior Hawk and his drug problem. Like, Vince loved to take the real life stuff and put it out there. He would definitely run with it. These guys, though, they're not going to push that.
Man, these guys are whack. I'll be pushing up on it. That would be my direction of.
Yeah, let's be honest. In a fight, Montez Ford would clean Jey Uso out. Like, it wouldn't even be a fight. Like, if people don't know, Montez Ford is like a legit badass. Like he's one of the few in WWE that's like a real legit fighter.
And look, why can't Montez get a push? We seen Jey Uso get a push.
Because he's got an anchor weight known as Angelo Dawkins with him.
And Angelo ain't no anchor weight. Angelo worked his ass off to get in wrestling shape.
I know. I gave him
and
his little spot when they came back that said that he looked good.
He debuted some new moveset, so he's not an anchor weight. He's no different than Jimmy Uso.
No, the difference is Jimmy rightfully got screwed out of his push because he got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
The whole push that Jay got was supposed to be for Jimmy, but he got hurt.
And by the way, part of that this song, Jimmy Uso got some love, so he didn't catch no strays, no bullets. It was Roman, and it was Jay, and it was somebody else. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning into the show. Make sure you watch your taping on JCW on YouTube. Catch me and Jamie tomorrow. We're going to dive in even more on this Montez for this.
Wasn't Raw supposed to be on at like 6 today? I think they said something about it. Maybe that was SmackDown. I don't know. But I think they said it was going to be at 6. Whatever. Either way, it may or may not be on right now. So there's that. If not, it'll be on in 45 minutes.
I'm going to watch it because that's who I am. And, what to expect on today's Raw? I gave the answer. Super thought that, well, actually, the new kind of made sense because the week before SmackDown was a good episode, but then they came back with this episode this past Friday, and that's what we got. So, make sure you guys tune in and watch Raw.
My way to psych myself up for watching Raw at this point.
And we're also going to talk about AEW because their pay-per-view is on Sunday, and the build-up is important, and the build-up has been so bad and boring. Me and Jamie going to talk about that.
I have to psych myself up to watch Raw and tell myself that Bronson Reed might re-debut. That's how I psych myself up to watch Raw.
Not Io Sky.
I mean, I will always watch Io Sky. It's whether I turn it off after Io Sky's been on.
And that's Stephanie.
Yeah, I'm so over the whole Stephanie thing at this point. I'm just like, yeah. Normally it would be a yes.
Happy, but... ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what made Jamie happy right now? If he can have Io Sky, Mia Yim, and Julia all on one show.
That would make me very happy.
And not only that, they can be.
If you want to make me like a long-term fan where I wouldn't even say anything negative, you have to add Tiffany Stratton in there. You put those four on there, I won't say anything bad about your show.
And
I will come up with reasons why it's good.
And they got to be a faction.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Guarantees you'll get his attention for 2.5 hours or so.
Absolutely. Without question.
Yeah. So you heard that, WWE. Make it happen. This has been the Signature Podcast. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Later.
Maybe Jamie will have a smile on his face tomorrow.
I have a smile on my face all the time.
Not the Kool-Aid smile. All
right,
y'all. Peace. Oh, no later? You see how you just...